A CBS News investigation is digging into President Trump's sweeping pardons of January 6 defendants, including a number of violent offenders. 169 people pleaded guilty to assaulting police officers on that day, and each and every one of them, 169, were pardoned or granted clemency, and in some cases that is scary to people who know them. Chief investigative correspondent Jim Axelrod spoke with one woman who says she's worried about her own safety now and the safety of others.
When Donald Trump freed hundreds of people convicted for their roles on January 6th, Chantel Holton's fears turned back to this man.
I'm just afraid that I'm going to come home from work one night and he's going to be right there. He's going to be right there sitting on my porch.
His name is Peter Schwartz, and a jury convicted him of assaulting police officers on January 6th. That's him with pepper spray and a baton.
He found an opportunity to go and be violent.
On January 6th?
Yes.
Holton, a factory worker who doesn't want to reveal where she's living, dated Schwartz back in 2019. That's when she says Schwartz beat her.
That man thrives on violence. He thrives on people fearing him.
In Holton's case, Schwartz was charged after making threats to kill her. One of 38 prior criminal convictions, including assaulting and threatening police, he racked up prior to January 6th. With that rap sheet, Schwartz received one of the harshest sentences of any of the Capitol rioters, more than 14 years in prison.
This was something that let you exhale.
Oh, absolutely. It was a huge weight lifted off my shoulders.
And that's why this supporter of Donald Trump,
You voted for him.
3 times.
is not happy with the president's decision to release everyone who took part in January 6th from prison.
And what I did was a great thing for humanity. They were treated very, very unfairly.
Most of those people should have been allowed to go home, but not people like Pete.
The idea of pardoning people who had criminal histories, violent histories, it's a really poor choice if you're thinking about public safety going forward.
Former federal prosecutor Jason Manning worked on roughly 50 of the 1,500 cases relating to January 6th.
There were a lot of folks who had no criminal history. There were a lot of other defendants, however, who had extensive history of domestic abuse, histories of assaulting police officers, for whom assaulting the police on January 6th was not the first time they'd assaulted
And
police.
all of these people were in the pool of people released from prison just a couple of weeks ago.
Every single one of them.
Since the mass release, one parolee was shot and killed in a confrontation with police in Indiana. Another will head to trial for rape later this year.
So the people who were just pardoned for violent offenses are now returning to their communities under no supervision whatsoever.
We made repeated efforts to reach Peter Schwartz.
A lot of us that were Jan 6ers were actually innocent.
He's been vocal on right-wing media, proclaiming his innocence and citing an appeals court decision as proof, though that ruling reversed only one of his 11 convictions and none of the assault verdicts.
Come look for me.
As for Chantel Holton, she's watching Peter Schwartz's publicity tour. Online donors have given this self-proclaimed J6 political prisoner nearly $90,000.
Everyone is hailing him as a hero, and he is not a hero. He is a violent man.
In a statement, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told us President Trump campaigned on pardoning January 6th protesters and delivered on his promise. The White House would not directly say if Peter Schwartz's case had gone through any kind of review before he was pardoned.
It's a very interesting and powerful story. So this response you have from the White House, is that going to be enough for Chantel Holton, this 3-time Trump voter?
Yeah, so we had reached out to her a couple of times prior to the pardons to ask if she would tell her story. Wasn't interested. She had been reassured by statements like from Vice President Vance saying, if you committed violence on January 6th, you will not be pardoned. She liked that. Then come the blanket pardons, and she was angry. And she said, yes, I need to tell my story. And that's when this 3-time Trump voter sat down with us to express not just her frustration and her disappointment, but her anger and her fear.
What does she think of that statement now from the White House? I wonder if that gives her any comfort whatsoever.
Not at all.
I would imagine not, yeah.
Not at all.
Well, Jim,
Thank you,
that's
Jim.
a powerful story. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.